Hi, this is Buddy Guy, and you're watching DunlopTV. Don't move that dial, because you'll miss me.
I'd like to start this off by, first of all, thanking you so much for spending this time with us. And like I said before, we had asked a lot of the other artists on this tour how Hendrix had influenced them, but like I said, with you, it's like a whole nother ballgame, because obviously you had influenced Jimi Hendrix.
He was such a creative guy, and I got to meet him. Thank God I did. And you know, he said he was listening to me, and matter of fact, he said he had canceled a couple of shows because I'd never played New York when I got there, just to come and see me and sit in with me. And I'm like, who is Hendrix? I didn't know much about him, you know. So we got to know one another, and through conversations, of course, I got something from him, and he got it from me, and we both got it from other people too. How much he's missed, because if he was around now, I wouldn't know what to expect out of that man. He was so creative. Yeah.
He's like from another planet.
Yeah, I think he was.
I mean, really.
Yeah?
I mean, he changed, I mean, there's few people you could say he changed the world.
He changed the world. He changed the world. I agree 100%. When Muhammad Ali started boxing and running his mouth, everybody was hoping everybody he meet would beat him. And I said he's running his mouth too much, but every time he said what he was gonna do, he did it. And one day I woke up, I said, I'm gonna leave that man alone.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, and I did Jimmy the same way. I said, I don't know what he's doing, but whatever he's doing, somebody's ready for that.
Right.
And they was.
From my head down to my shoes.
So doing it his way filtered through what possibly had inspired him, but what had inspired you?
What inspired me to play, if I understand you right?
Yeah, to play your style, the way that you brought it on.
Well, to be honest with you, somebody had to tell me that I had come up with some kind of style. I didn't know, didn't have an explanation of what I was doing until someone told me that I was playing some licks a lot of other great guitar players much greater than me was giving me credit for what they had heard from me. I'm like, who's me? You know? Because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to make Muddy and Wolf and all of them happen, which goes back to Hendrix. We talked about that. We didn't just come up and say, oh, I got something here. You know, we was listening to every Tom, Dick, and Harry and trying to find it. And to make the long story short, I even mentioned it to him. It was like we were looking for a dime, but we found a quarter.
So when did you start adding pedal effects?
Actually, before Jimmy. I don't want to take nothing from him. He perfected more than anybody I ever had. But all you had back then, you'd break a bottle and hope you could break it while it would leave the little piece of the neck. And that's what all them old guys was doing. So I had broke a bottle trying to learn it and went into Chicago, and a guy told me one night, let's go, there's a guitar player you might want to hear. And I walked in and saw Earl Hooker play that. And I just took my bottleneck off and give it to him. I said, you take this, because I'll never be able to play like that.
What was the rig that you were playing through? You had a Fender Strat?
Fender Strat, the original Strat, what they call vintage. Somebody ripped me for it, of course. And then, you know, Fender made the basement amplifier for the bass.
And then you just cranked up the volume and let it go?
I didn't know nothing about no special effects or nothing. All I know, the knobs was locked from wine, cigarettes, and beer being dripped on it. You couldn't turn no device.
That's the special effects.
Special effects. The first time I ever went to San Francisco, and they was having a discussion about who didn't want to open the show. So I said, man, I come to work. I said, I'll go on now. He said, what you? And I went up and played. And the next night he came up, I'm ready to go open the show again. And the guy said, no, don't nobody want to follow you.
They were scared.
They say, I want to see what he got in the amplifier. I said, what do you mean what I got in the amplifier? I don't have nothing there but volume. I can't.
Wine and cigarettes.
Yeah, I should explain that to him. That's what it is.
So playing with the teeth, that was your gig?
I think I might have been the first one did that, but didn't nobody know who in the hell I was. I looked at guitar players and ain't no way I can play like that. I don't know, but something kept telling me, don't throw your guitar away, man. You love what you did, and even you'll never be that good, but just keep the thing that you love most. I was doing a record called My Time After Why in Chess Studios.
Right.
And I'm in session. And all of a sudden, here come 4 guys, stands up in my session room with hair, white guys. I had never saw a white man with hair this long. And excuse my language, I'm like, what the fuck is y'all doing to me now, you know? And we got pictures of that. It's the Stones. You know, they wasn't famous then, and
right.
They lined up against the wall. We talk about it every time I see them now. They crashed my session, will stand up against the wall like this, watching me do a song called My Time After Why.
So how did you get hooked up with like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Little Walter and all that stuff? How did you get into that clique?
I didn't have no record, and I just was wild, and wherever I played, the word got out. This little MFF from Louisiana, man, y'all better go see him. And one night, and I looks out there in the audience, and there's B.B. King and Muddy Waters sitting at a table watching me, and I'm like saying, uh-oh, what am I gonna play or sing now? Because I can't fool with B.B. King. And
right.
I walks off the stage, I said, I got to avoid him. And I went to avoid him, and they called me. Him and Muddy said, come here. I'm like, oh. Okay, and he just grabbed me, set me down, and said, look like you the only young man gonna be able to take my place. And I'm like, what?
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And we've been friends ever since. Man.
That's heavy.
That's heavy, that's heavy.
Say something to you.
Like my dad wrote that song I got on one of my albums. I don't want to be the best in town. I just try to be the best until the best come around.
She's 19 years old.
As a matter of fact, I was talking to Dunlop the other day, and I'm like with Dunlop like I am with marriage. It shouldn't be a license to marriage. It should be a shake hand, and I think marriage would last longer, just like me and Dunlop. I can't divorce them. We're too close.